anyway, that's fine. So I was telling you that this program, this series of presentations by LCIPs was a wonderful thought. And then we thought, why should not we have a platform from where we can share our ideas and thoughts and experiences with people and at the same time benefit each other. That was the idea behind that. And then we started inviting other people as well whenever the topics were relevant to non-Lions as well. So there are two kinds of topics that we generally discuss. Some topics that are general in nature and a few topics, maybe 10, 20% of them exclusively Lions related, Lionism related. And whenever topics relate to Lionism alone, we invite only Lions, FDIs, passionate trainers, senior Lions, and young Lions who are interested in learning and becoming trainers, and everybody for that matter from Lions. But there are quite a lot of topics which are general in nature. They relate to life skills, soft skills, personality development, etc. And on all such occasions, I share the link with a few others as well, outsiders, and sometimes some of my teacher colleagues and a few other friends join. So that was the idea when it started 3 years ago. And these were the presentations that were made during the first year. And quite a lot of them happened every fortnight. The same pattern continued during the second year too. We had how many? 9 into 3, 27 presentations. That means every fortnight, 27 fortnights is 1 year. So every fortnight, without missing one, we had a presentation. And every one of these presentations was made by an LCIP. LCIP is Alliance Certified Instructor Program, Certified Trainer. And so we have invited LCIPs to make these presentations. And every one of these presentations also had either an international director or a past international director or somebody above them, like international presidents, vice presidents, LCIF chairpersons, and quite a lot of them had agreed to be the chief guests at these functions. And we were extremely excited when all these great leaders joined us for this series of presentations. We'll go on to listen to our chief guest. So today, our very, very beloved past international director, Muruganji, is the chief guest, and a very popular leader, friend, trainer, Dr. Kshitij Sharma, LCIP, is the speaker today. So these two leaders are already with us, and then I'm going to stop sharing for a while, and I'm just going to spend 1 or 2 minutes to tell you who our chief guest is, how big a man he is, and how lucky we are to have him here. Past English Director Murugan is one of the most beloved past English directors of mine. And then whenever I met him, whenever I talked to him, I found him a very fatherly kind of a figure, very beloved, very loving. And the kind of care that he takes, even 10 minutes ago, he called me. Usually I call the chief guests, I call the speakers, I call people, but he called me and found out a few details about this program and other things. So such a wonderful person. He's very, very humble, and perhaps one of the humblest that I have seen among the international directors and past international directors. So he joined Lionism very young as a Leo. I think that was about maybe more than 50 years ago. Can you believe that? Maybe more than 50 years ago, he became a Leo, and then he became a Lion about 40, 45 years ago. After that, as you might have already expected, he became a district governor and then an international director. Some of you might remember that there was something called the Campaign Site First. So when Campaign Site First 2 was launched, he was designated the sector coordinator, which was a big responsibility those days. Fundraising was the main objective of Campaign Site First. So he did wonderful work then. He also served as a multiple district GMT coordinator. Professionally, he's a civil engineer, but that's a very small qualification of his, because he's engaged into quite a lot of the construction, healthcare, hospitality, education, and quite a lot of diverse fields. He's engaged in all of them are his family business. So he's into his family business, doing extraordinarily brilliantly in each one of these areas. And he is active not only in Lionism, but in many, many other professional fields, also in community-related organizations, professional organizations. As a qualified engineer, he is into the Institution of Engineers and the Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce, Trivandrum Management Association, Regional Cancer Association, Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Society of India, and the list is very big. The awards he won, I don't need to tell you quite a lot of them. And as I already made it clear to you, he is one of the most popular, most beloved, most loving, very, very affectionate past international director that we have. Over to PID Muruganji to give his message and also to declare this program as inaugurated.
Thank you, my good friend, nagaRAJU. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah. And today's speaker, my good friend, past council chairperson, Dr. Sharma ji, all the beloved lines who are attending this Zoom meeting, including some of the lines from Kerala too. And thank you for all those nice words. I think this is the second time I am inaugurating a session, SkillUP, in your program.
Yes.
nagaRAJU is the founder of the SkillUP program. It is the 71st episode. This is the third year. And every fortnight he is doing it with the eminent speakers and also inviting directors, past directors, vice president, president, and all. I really want to compliment nagaRAJU for this good work. Dr. Sharma is a very highly qualified person. He will be introduced separately. I have traveled with him. In fact, when I was in Global Action Team as senior leader for Kerala and Karnataka, Dr. Sharma was also there. So we have attended some of the programs together. We traveled, once we traveled from Delhi to some other place, we flew together. Very nice person. And he's going to give you a nice talk today. So as part of the inauguration, nagaRAJU wanted me to convey some message. And that is what I am going to convey now. Friends, I wanted to share a real story connected with the Lions. In the World War II, Philippines was very badly bombarded, affected by the bombing of Japan. And Japan also occupied Philippines for a long time. As all of us know, the war ended in 1945. So 4 years later, after Philippines became free, 4 years later, the first club in Manila, Philippines. In fact, I have visited Manila long back. So first Lions Club was formed in Manila, Philippines. And 3 years later in 1952, the members of the Manila Lions Club, they wanted to extend the first club in Japan. Okay, so they contacted Lions Clubs International, permission was given, and the first club in Japan was started in the year 1952. Imagine Japan bombarded Philippines. The Philippines, after getting the independence, they were the sponsors for the first club in Japan in the year 1952. Two Lions from Manila, Lion George Barangova and then International Director Manuel J. Gonzalez, took the initiative of extending a club in Japan. On 5th March 1952, Lions Clubs International's then Vice President Edgar M. Elbert presented the charter to the first Lions Club in Japan, called the Tokyo Lions Club. Japan was the 35th nation to join Lions by presenting Kinichi Ishikawa, the first president of the Tokyo Lions Club. This is a great historical moment in the golden book of Lions history. Building international understanding and peace between nations is a very important mission of Lions Clubs. And this has helped to heal wounds between the two nations. So this is 1952. After 60 years, history is repeating. I was International Director 2014-2016 for 2 years. My first year president was Joe Preston, who has come to India several times. Second year in 2015-16, our international president was Dr. Jitsuhiro Yamada, a very famous neurologist. Okay, he was the president from Japan. So he took over as president in Hawaii. Joe Preston retired in Hawaii Convention, and Dr. Yamada took over as president in Hawaii. You know, Japan had bombarded Hawaii very badly during the Second World War. So a lion from Japan taking over as president in Hawaii, USA. And Dr. Yamada's international convention was in Fukuoka, Japan, where Chancellor Bob Carlo took over as the centennial president of Lions Clubs International in Fukuoka, Japan. So these are all very important milestones in the records of Lions International, which every Lion should understand how the friendship between nations have been very nobly maintained by Lions. So this was very interesting to read when I went through some of the records of Lions International. It was very interesting. In fact, I have talked about this in some of the Lions meetings in Kerala and elsewhere. So I thought I should share with you. This is a good information for the Lions who are attending this Zoom meeting. Friends, many of us have not visited Pakistan. Many of us have not visited Pakistan due to the visa problem. I may be one of the very few Lions who had the opportunity to visit Pakistan in the year 2016, month of May. That was the multiple convention held in Karachi in Pakistan. So me and my wife could go to Pakistan, and I was the chief guest for the multiple convention. And we extended a very warm welcome at the airport. We stayed for 3 days and we flew back to India. So through Lions, the excellent relationship is being maintained between the nations. That is these are the two examples which I told about the Manila Lions Club and then Dr. Yamada taking over as the president in Hawaii and stepping down in his home ground in Japan. I do not want to take much of your time. Dr. Sharma is an excellent speaker, is a trainer. So with these few words, I have immense pleasure to inaugurate the 71st episode of SkillUP, founded by our good friend, Lion nagaRAJU. Over to Lion nagaRAJU. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that introductory message, which came in the form of a wonderful story and a factual story, in fact. Thank you for telling us and taking us down the memory lane of that historic development. Thank you very much. And also, actually, PID Murugan told me that he had some other commitment. That's why he may not stay for long. But I would love him to have him here throughout in case it's convenient to him. So once again, I welcome you. There are quite a lot of other people who have just joined. So everyone who has joined us, I welcome you to this program. We now go on to know a little about our LCIP friend, Dr. Kshitiz Sharma, one of my dearest LCIP colleagues and one of the best that we have in the country. So he also joined Lions quite a long ago. This was about maybe at least, I think more than 20 years ago, I think, roughly. So he became a district governor, obvious, a council chairperson. So not every governor gets the opportunity to become a council chairperson, because it's maybe less than 10% of the governors who escalate to become the council chairperson. He was one of them. He served as the multiple district GMT coordinator from 2021 to 22. And then for a very unusually long time, he has been serving as the GAT area leader. Typically, GAT area leaders serve for 1 year, 2 years, whatever, but he has been serving since 2022 and he's still in that position. That proves the commitment that he has, the passion with which he works, and the contribution that he has so far made. I think everybody who has any time into any training institute knows him, because he's such a popular trainer that every RLLI, every ELLI, every FDA, wherever it is happening, so he's invited. And in case you attended any one of his programs, I don't think you can miss listening to him, not only as a trainer, but as a powerful, melodious singer. I had such opportunities. He's a very sweet singer. And he loves lots of Hindi songs. And then every time I listen to him, I feel so very overjoyed. Then a few achievements of his. He contributed 14,000 US dollars, that's roughly about 14 lakhs, to LCIF to earn a 3 blue sapphire lapel pin, which is again a very rare kind of a contribution. I don't think, not many people have contributed that kind of sum to LCIF. He also contributed when the second century ambassadors the concept was introduced. He contributed to that also. Professionally, he is a non-interventional pediatric cardiologist. I think you understand that. So cardiologist who works for children, a non-interventionist. Maybe I'm not a technical person on that. Maybe if he gets a minute, perhaps he'll tell us what that is. So he is a cardiologist who has been serving thousands of young people, young children, and professionally, he is very popular because he is not only just associated with Lionism as a leader in different stages, but also he is very closely associated with the Indian Medical Association, Indian Academy of Pediatricians, and quite a lot of other organizations. And interestingly, he is a practitioner of the art of living, and he is a trainer, art of foundation facilitator, we call them facilitators, I think. So he has been in that, playing that in that role also. He is the general secretary of the ISKCON project, one of the largest projects of ISKCON in eastern Uttar Pradesh, and he's a patron for many other charitable trusts and organizations, societies, etc. Most importantly, he is a very sociable, very friendly, and very supportive LCIP trainer. And I had the privilege of working along with him on 2 or 3 occasions. And every time I found him bringing a lot of energy into everything that he does. And most importantly, the kind of support that he extends to his colleague trainers is simply unmatchable. So I have great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Kshitij Sharma to this program, and I request him to make his presentation now. Over to Kshitij.
Thank you very much, nagaRAJU sir. You wanted me to clarify on my profession. So I am a cardiologist who looks after children's hearts, the tender hearts. And why I write non-interventional is because I don't do interventions anymore. I am settled down in my native place where we do not have those advanced facilities. Interventions means like you close the holes in the heart or you plug whatever the wrong connections are there. So when I was in my institute, I used to do that. But after shifting to my native place, I'm not doing interventions. So I clearly mentioned I'm a non-interventional cardiologist. As far as LCIF is concerned, it's something which is very close to my heart. I became a club president in, I think, 13-14. And at that time, I decided that as long as I am a lion, I will donate $1,000 every year.
Wow.
So 13-14 is 26 now. So I have 14,000 14,000 I have donated. So it's 1,000 every year. And incidentally, I became a life member. So as long as I'm alive, so I'm going to be donating $1,000 every year. That is something each one of us, if we have some association or some integrity with our foundation, at least $100 or $500 or $200, something everybody should do every year. It should become a habit. So that is as far as my interests go. And nagaRAJU sir is very, very, very lavish with raising people. You must have heard this over and over again for last 2 years. So thank you very much again for your kind words, sir. I'll just share my uh, one moment.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the. So I hope I'm visible now.
Yes.
Okay. So leadership lessons from folk tales. It was something which is very interesting for me. I found this topic very interesting because folk tales take us to, basically they take us back long back in time, especially when we were with our grandmothers or we were with our school in a school. And that is why I more than the time I spent for preparing this talk, I spent time, making the slide, the current slide that you see. You can see the tree there, and you can see a wise man sitting with some children there. There's a road going to the old lamp. I spent almost 2-3 hours making this slide so that we should have the feel that we are going back to school or going back in time. That is what it is. And as far as the what do you say, the folk tales are concerned, there are many, many folk tales. Just now, nagaRAJU sir was telling us that there are more than 150 Aesop's fables. So I think I should be, yes. This particular folk tale everybody is aware of. I don't have to basically talk about this. The hare and the rabbit, everybody knows. So I'm not going to talk about those Aesop's fables, which are very common. I'm not going to talk about these hare and the rabbit, which are very common. We are going to talk about, you know, some folk tales from where we can learn lot in leadership. See, if you see, there are so many stories. We have Akbar and Birbal stories. We have Tenali Raman stories. We have the what do you say, the David and the Goliath story, the monkey and the crocodile story. So many stories. Bamboo and the oak tree. Uh, every story, gives the phoenix rising from the ashes. Krishna and Arjun, this King Solomon's judgment. There's so many things. But I thought I should highlight certain, very few, because the time that I was given was only 25 minutes, and then we had to have questions. So I thought it is better that we come up with some very few stories, and we dissect every story properly. Maybe one minute of the storytelling, and then 5 minutes we can discuss on what that story teaches us. And I would love to have your participation, because how we are going to understand each story, I would love to have your comments in the chat box. So let us first start with, who do you think is a leader? What traits does a leader have? If we can have some uh, responses in the chat box, and if nagaRAJU sir can read it for me, it will be
Sure.
great. Uh, do we have? Because these entire skill sessions have been on leadership. So by now, all of you will be very, very much adept with, what a leader, what you expect from a leader, what characteristics or what traits a leader should have, or what skills a leader should have. So I can hear some who can manage people, who can lead from the front, who make leaders, who's a role model, who shows the path. So I'm getting these responses. I will try to get some of my own. Somebody who has a vision, somebody who believes in servant leadership, somebody who has emotional intelligence, good EQ, who's wise, who has the power of strategic thinking, who empathizes with everybody, who's very justice and fairness, who's has integrity, is courageous, believes in teamwork, is humble, very good in communication, is accountable for his actions, has resilience, does not melt under pressure, and delegates his job. There may be many more. I'm not limiting leaders only to these about 10, 12, 13, 4, 15 traits. There may be 500 traits, but I just thought these would be something which would be common to all leaders. So we are going to look at all these traits when we listen to those stories now. Why folk tales? This question came to me, and I would like to congratulate nagaRAJU sir for this, because when this topic itself came, I almost, I was the first person to respond that I want to do this topic. So why do stories written thousands of years ago still resonate in the boardroom or in your training sessions? Anybody? Anybody wants to take a try? Why do they still resonate? Why are they still, relevant? Guides to build, Sheila ji is saying, guides to build. No expiry for them. Absolutely no expiry. They've been there before I was born and they'll be there after I go. So one of the reasons that I could find was that human nature has not changed. Over the generations, over age, the nature has not changed. The traits may have changed from millennials to Gen Z to now, but the basic nature remains the same. Stories, no, they make values, whatever values, very memorable. Through these stories, we can remember these values, and these values can be transferable to people. It is easily, you can just give an example of a folk tale and you can educate the other person, which you cannot tell by other words, and he may not mistake it also. It's a laboratory means it's a safe place to explore high stakes ethical dilemmas. Sometimes you may be ethically thinking whether I should tell this to him or not to tell him, or tell her something or not to tell her something. It is easier to tell her a folk tale and make her understand what you wanted to say rather than telling her directly or telling him directly what you want to emphasize. So let us explore I use the word intersection. It's an ancient narrative and contemporary executive excellence. So, how we use the ancient narratives and how we intersect the ancient narrative with contemporary executive excellence is what this entire talk is about. And I will straight away jump into one of the folk tales, and we'll dissect that folk tale. It's a 1 minute presentation, but we'll dissect that presentation properly. So, everybody would have heard this, The Lion and the Mouse. We'll just refresh our memories.
Kshitij, is there audio in that?
Yeah, there is an audio there. Are you not able to hear?
No.
So how do I enable the audio?
You did it earlier. I don't know, maybe when you
No, it was showing. Maybe I am on my AirPod. I'll remove the AirPod and we play it otherwise. Then you can hear. I'll try playing it again. Let me see.
The Lion and
Yeah.
the Mouse.
No?
Right.
One day, a lion.
Can you hear now?
We can hear it now.
Okay.
A mouse was playing nearby and soon began to run up and down on him. The lion woke up with a roar and grabbed the mouse. The mouse begged the lion, "Please let me go. I will save you one day." The lion laughed at the idea and freed the mouse. A few days later, the lion was caught in a hunter's net. He roared in pain. The mouse heard the lion and came to his help. He nibbled the net with his sharp teeth. The lion was soon free from his trap.
So everybody would have heard that story, I'm sure. Now, what are the lessons that we learn from this? What lessons do we learn? Responses, come on. Everybody has to be quick on their pads. Never underestimate. Very nice. Reshma Gandhi says, never underestimate anybody. Never underestimate others. Don't underestimate a common man. Very nice. So you have the first response there. Never underestimate anyone. The lion laughs when the tiny mouse says he may someday be able to help him. Lion never thought he will ever require a mouse to help him. But great leaders recognize that every person has value, regardless of position, regardless of his status, age, experience, or influence. So, never underestimate anyone. Respect every team member, listen to junior members, encourage diverse perspectives, and avoid arrogance. So, the leadership principle here is be humble, humility over ego. The next point, anybody else? Anybody wants to comment? The next thing, kindness creates loyalty. So the lion chooses mercy and spares the mouse. Okay? People always remember how leaders treat them. And acts of kindness and compassion often create lasting goodwill and loyalty. So always show empathy, support people during difficulties, be firm when necessary, but never unnecessarily harsh. And the principle is compassion builds commitment. Anybody wants to add on to what more lesson can we learn from this? I'll go ahead. Leadership is not about size or power. The mighty lion was helpless when he was trapped. So authority alone cannot solve all the problems. Even the strongest leaders sometimes need help. So be willing to ask for assistance, encourage collaboration, and most importantly, be humble enough, admit when you need support. True strength includes vulnerability. Everybody is vulnerable. So please recognize your vulnerabilities and ask for help. The next lesson that we learn from the story is everyone has unique strengths. The mouse cannot fight the hunters who come to kill the lion, but the mouse can definitely cut the ropes which are tying the lion, isn't it? So different people contribute in different ways. It is not necessary that everybody has to contribute the same thing. And the leaders identify that. They identify and they utilize individual strengths. So diversity of strengths can create stronger teams. The next lesson is today's kindness, tomorrow's support. So if you have kindness in your nature, you'll definitely never be falling short of support. Whenever you require, the support will come. The lion's earlier act of mercy actually saved his life. So what you give often gets multiplied. It returns multiplied. An important thing, very important, reciprocal leadership. Reciprocal leadership means that the lion helps the mouse, so the mouse helps the lion. So at different times, leaders and followers will switch roles and they will support each other. So leadership is not a sole job, it is a partnership. And the most important thing, most important thing, how would have had the mouse felt after he freed the lion? What would have been the mouse's feeling? Did he not feel empowered? So, as a mouse, when he was pleading for his life, he just said that I will save you someday. I'll help you someday. But he never imagined in which way he'll be helping him, or which way he'll be saving him. So, just the leadership lesson is that they create, the future leaders and problem solvers, they all coexist. But we just have to recognize them. So, are there any responses that we can have a look from participants?
Yes, there are quite a lot of them.
Because I am not able to see the chat box when I am sharing my screen.
Anybody can help, big or small. That is from Lion Shankar Rao. Even smaller in their size, yet will be helpful. Answer from
I can see
Avanti.
now I can see.
Karma comes back.
Karma comes back. Very much.
Kindness is
trust, helping someone, it will come back. History repeats.
Very
nice. So I mean, the participation encourages me, that I'm on the right path. So thank you very much. We'll move on to the next story. This is very interesting. and I'm sure everybody would have heard this also.
Yeah.
The emperor's new clothes. So let's just hear the story first, and then we'll talk about it.
Once upon a time, there lived an emperor who spent all his time trying out new clothes. Two travelers heard about the emperor and his love for clothes. They decided to fool the emperor and make some money. They went to the emperor and introduced themselves as famous tailors from a faraway land. They told the emperor that they would make a special outfit for him that fools wouldn't be able to see. The emperor readily agreed. The two men received a large sum of money, but they only pretended to sew the clothes. Many curious ministers went to see the special outfit, but they saw nothing. They praised the garment, fearing they would be called fools. Soon the travelers went to the emperor with their creation. Like the others, the emperor too saw nothing, but he didn't want to admit he was a fool and praised the outfit. He wore it for the parade that day. The entire town had gathered to see the special outfit. The emperor, proud of his clothes, marched along the streets. All his subjects cheered loudly, even though none of them actually saw any clothes. Finally, one little girl asked why wasn't the emperor wearing any clothes. Slowly the people started whispering and realized they all had been fooled. The emperor turned red with shame and wanted to punish the cunning travelers, but they had already run away.
Okay. So how often do we come across this kind of a scenario in our own Lions leadership? Many a times we see the leaders, doing something which it is obvious that they're not on the right path, but we are afraid to tell them because we don't want to make ourselves sound foolish. At the same time, we don't want to, what do you say, obstruct the thought process of the leader. So what happens is the lessons that we learn from this is the first one, chat box.
Yeah.
How do I get the chat box? I think, sir, you bring it on, isn't it? The
One of
chats,
the first answers is be a leader, not the sheep
not the sheep.
following.
Yes, Reshma, very correct. Anybody else? The first thing that I would like to say is that, yeah, we have been fooled by notorious lions sometime. Be truthful to what you believe. And innocence and courage is required, of course. Accept feedback, correct? What I would start with is, first of all, leaders must be open to the truth. Only when they're open to the truth can the team members or the subordinates or his colleagues, they can openly speak. There should be freedom of speaking. The emperor was so concerned about appearing wise that even when he did not see the clothes, he accepted and he ignored reality. So, every leader should encourage very candid feedbacks. They should ask for dissenting opinions. It's not necessary that, we should not be looking forward only for yes men. As a leader, we should create a culture where people can challenge ideas respectfully. Of course, the respectfully word is important. We should not respect the authority. We should respect the idea. We should challenge the idea. So that is something very important. Leaders should be wise enough to accept the truth and create an environment where people are openly speaking the truth. Of course, in a respectful environment. We have some more chats coming up. You have to take the suggestion of any line members accept position. Consult all. Good evening to all lines. Okay, honesty. Keep a complaint box. Yeah, that is a very good option. Complaint box, because if you don't want to be caught, don't want to upset. Don't want your political aspirations to be compromised. The leader should have they should have the capability of listening to truth through a complaint box. What we call, in all the trainings we have a parking lot where anybody can go and put a sticky note and write whatever they want. So if there was a complaint box kind of a culture there, somebody would have written, I can't see, nobody can see, we can't all be fools. So please check whether you are seeing or not seeing. And then he would have realized. But that culture has to be built. The second most important lesson which I think I get from this is groupthink. Everyone sees that the emperor is wearing nothing, but no one speaks up. You see, organizations often fail not because people do not know the truth. They fail because they're afraid to tell the truth. So it is very important, if you are loyal to the organization, you should be not only, you should be openly talking about what is true, So as a leader, you should always invite alternative viewpoints. You should reward constructive disagreements. Very, very important line. Constructive disagreement should be rewarded. And regularly ask your team, what are we missing? Are we missing something? Silence can be more dangerous than mistakes. So doing a mistake and learning is okay, but knowing that a mistake can happen or mistake is happening and keeping silent is very, very dangerous. The third thing is psychological safety drives better decisions. This means the emperor's advisors were fearing that they will be labeled as fools because they could not see the dress. So they remained silent. And they just wanted to be in their comfort zone. But what you, as a leader, you should welcome questions. You should avoid humiliating mistakes publicly, which is one of our ethics also, Lions ethics, and listen carefully when someone raises a concern. People speak up when leaders make it safe to do so. So as a leader, we should create a very safe environment for all our team members, all our colleagues to speak clearly. Courage is not limited to leaders. Ultimately, who speaks? A small child speaks the truth. So important insights can come from the newest person, the youngest person, or the least powerful person in the room. So always listen to new members. Encourage junior team members to contribute. Value ideas based on merit, not status. Wisdom is not determined by rank. The next lesson that we learn from this is ego can blind leadership. Very, very important, and it is very commonly seen in many districts. The emperor's desire to appear superior makes him very easy to manipulate. And that is what those travelers did. They manipulated, took lots of money from him, and just to tell him that we are giving you some cloth which will be seen only by wise people. So very easily manipulated, he can be manipulated. So as a leader, what I'm saying sometimes may not augur very well with people, but focus on your results more than your appearances. Seek honest self-assessment, and despite being successful, remain grounded. Humility will protect you from self-deception. The next point that I thought was ethical leaders speak up. Most people knew the truth in the story, but they chose comfort over courage. Integrity means speaking the truth when it matters. It is very important. If you see your leader not doing the right thing, you have to speak up. And another thing is leaders often shape organizational culture. So if the emperor's obsession with status, creates an environment where honesty disappears. So always you should reward transparency. You should celebrate learning from mistakes. In fact, you should become a model of honesty yourself. Your leadership behavior should become the culture of the organization. And lastly, the lesson which I would like to share with you is titles do not guarantee wisdom. The emperor, ministers, all the nobles, all failed to see what the child saw. So leadership is not about position all the time. The previous story also said it is not about position. This story also says it is not about position. It is about judgment, self-awareness, and character. The best leaders, they stay curious. Best leaders continue learning. Best leaders never assume authority. that they're always right. And the best leaders always remain teachable. You can always make the best leaders, always make them learn certain things. So I just wanted to ask you a few questions. Why do you think intelligent people remain silent? Can anybody tell me? Why do you think intelligent people remain silent even after knowing the truth? Lack of courage, fear of being labeled fool. Very, very important. Piyush. So we should always. Acha, how do you think leaders can actually encourage people to speak honestly? How can leaders encourage people to speak honestly? What is your take on that? How can we create a culture where where everybody is able to speak openly? Set an example. As a leader, I can criticize anybody. Setting example is okay, but how do I create an environment where my teammates are, yes, accept their feedback in the right spirit, dare to hear criticism, always ask, are we doing the right thing? Is there anything that we can do better? Just by asking these two questions, no, you open up people. Is there anything that we are missing? Can we do something better? Does anybody have a better idea? Can anybody improve on what we've already thought of? So taking everybody into consideration, we can always create a culture, create an environment where everybody openly speaks up and they share what is right. See, for leaders in Lions International, this story reminds that membership challenges should be discussed honestly. As a Mission 1.5 ambassador, as a GAT area leader, we have membership challenges, and we are into the penultimate year, which is closing in another 20 days. So challenges should be discussed honestly. Club weaknesses should not be hidden. Leaders should seek feedback from all members. New Lions may see opportunities that experienced leaders overlook. So the greatest leadership failure is not making a mistake. It is creating an environment where no one feels safe enough to point it out. So it is our responsibility as a leader to create an environment where everybody feels very safe to point out mistakes, even if it is done by a leader. Let us move on to our another very interesting story. The beauty of the crackpot. Many of us are crackpots in the real sense. And this lovely story tells you that even crackpots are so useful.
Water carrier had two pots hanging on a pole. One pot was perfect, but the other had a small crack. Every day, while carrying water from the river, the cracked pot leaked water along the path. By the time they reached the house, the cracked pot was always half empty. The cracked pot felt ashamed and said, "I am sorry. Because of my flaw, you always lose water." The carrier stopped and pointed. "Look down," he said. The cracked side of the path was lined with vibrant blue flowers, while the other side remained barren. "I knew of your leak," he explained. "So I planted seeds along your trail. Every day, you watered them." The carrier lifted his pole once more. "Your flaw is not a failure," he smiled. "Remember, everyone has imperfections. Sometimes, the things we see as our flaws are the very things that make us special and help others."
Isn't that great? I personally love the story.
Beautiful.
So, what lessons do we learn from this story? The beauty of the crackpot lessons. We already have something in the chat. Let's see. Great. Yes, superb. But what lessons can we have? Some lessons. What everyone is important. Okay. Good in bad, patience, be kind enough to accept the flaws. Some more. I would say the most important thing, the first thing is see strengths hidden within the imperfections. Positivity of mind. There, yeah. Positivity of mind will explain that. See strengths hidden within imperfections. None of us are perfect. Great leaders recognize that people are not defined by their weaknesses. Every individual has unique talents, and their unique talents can contribute value in unexpected ways. Don't focus only on what team members cannot do. That is what we always do, no? He cannot do that. He cannot do that. Identify what somebody can contribute very unique to himself. How often do we judge people by their limitations rather than their potential? Very often. So it is important that we see strengths hidden within the imperfections. Second, create roles that match individual strengths. The pot carrier saw and he knew and he was aware that the pot was leaking. So he sowed some seeds only on the side that he was carrying the crackpot. So water bearer did not try to fix the crackpot immediately. He adapted the environment to make the crack useful. So the imperfection was made use of by the water carrier. So that means effective leaders, they align responsibilities with people's natural abilities and circumstances rather than forcing everyone into the same mold. Had he tried to fix that pot and make it also into a pot that was not leaking, maybe he would not have been successful. So a person who struggles with details sometimes may excel at relationship building or creative thinking. The next lesson that I thought was foster self-worth and confidence. The crackpot felt like a failure until the water bearer helped it to see its contribution. So many team members from our clubs, they underestimate their value because we always keep pointing out their flaws. It is the leader's responsibility to help people recognize the impact of their work. Give specific appreciation and feedback that highlights unseen contributions. There are innumerable unseen contributions from so many people in the clubs, which we never appreciate or which never recognize. And the team members always keep on underestimating their values. The next lesson that I thought was, before we start judging, we should practice empathy. In this story, the water bearer understood the pot's feeling and responded with kindness by sowing the seeds on the side of the crackpot, rather than criticizing that you pot, you are useless, and I am trying to fill the whole pot and only half pot is reaching home. So the principle of this is that you should understand before you seek to correct. Before you start correcting somebody, try to understand why the person is behaving in a particular manner. And the next thing is, diversity creates beauty. Because the pot was different, only then the flowers bloomed on that side. Had it been the same, even that side would be the same. So diversity brings innovation. Turn challenges into opportunities. What appeared to be a defect became a source of beauty and value. And the last thing, measure success broadly. It's not just the pot carrying water home. It's also the pot which is blooming the flowers on the way. So I thought this was very nice, very interesting. And who was the real leader in the story? Can anybody tell me who was the real leader in the story? Okay. Farmer okay, the pot was made to realize that he's useful. The real leader was the person who sowed the seeds on the side of the leaking pot. So the great leaders do not seek perfect people. They help imperfect people realize their unique values. So the person who was carrying the pot was the real leader. All right. We should always, there are 4 R's. Leadership framework has 4 R's. You recognize the hidden strengths. You reframe the weaknesses from a different perspective. You redeploy those people depending on their strengths and reward their contributions. So it's all at 4 R's that we have. Now, the last story of the evening, because you don't have much time, the stone soup. I'm sure everybody would have heard the stone soup, but I'll just play it for you.
Once, in a valley nestled between misty hills, there lay a tiny village. The villagers were poor, and winters were harsh, food was scarce, and trust even scarcer. People hoarded turnips, barley, and beans in hidden sacks, fearing neighbors might ask for a bite. Look after your own, they muttered, or you'll starve. One frosty evening, a traveler named Leela trudged into the village. Her cloak was threadbare, her boots worn, but her eyes gleamed with warmth. She knocked on doors, asking for shelter. No room here, snapped the baker. Go away, barked the farmer. Undeterred, Leela set up a small fire in the village square and placed a pot over the flames. Curiosity soon pricked the villagers. A boy named Finn crept closer. "What are you making?" he asked. "Stone soup," Leela replied, dropping a smooth rock into the pot, the finest soup in the land. "Tastes even better with a pinch of salt." Finn ran home and returned with a tin of salt. Leela sprinkled it in, stirring slowly. But a carrot would make it sweeter. Finn's mother, blushing, brought a withered carrot from her cellar. Leela tossed it in. The farmer's wife, peering from her window, hurried out with a handful of barley. "Might as well add this," she grumbled. One by one, villagers emerged: a potato here, an onion there, a sprig of thyme, a knob of butter. The pot bubbled with colors and smells. Children lugged benches, elders brought bowls, and even the grumpy blacksmith donated a loaf of stale bread. As night fell, the square buzzed with laughter. Strangers became friends, passing bowls of steaming soup. "Never tasted anything so rich," marveled the baker. "It's the stone," Leela winked, "but stones work best when everyone adds a little something." The next morning, Leela prepared to leave. "Stay," pleaded Finn. "Teach us more." She shook her head. "You've already learned the secret. A shared pot fills more than stomachs it."
More than stomachs can fill a heart. So, lovely story. I'm actually running a little behind time, so I'll just quickly go to the lessons. And the leadership takeaway lessons are: create a shared vision. Leela transformed a village of reluctant individuals. The individuals were all reluctant. She transformed them into a community working towards a common goal. And the second thing is, she influenced without authority, that she had no formal power over the villagers, but she relied entirely on persuasion and creativity. Third thing is, start with what you have. She just could start with a pot of water and stone, and then everybody joined in. So leaders do not wait for perfect resources. They start with available assets and build momentum. So begin wherever you are, use what you have, do what you can. Unlock hidden resources. All the hidden resources were in the villagers' houses already. Everybody had all those things. But then, how to get them? She said, it tastes better with a salt. It tastes better with this, better with that. And slowly everybody started coming out gradually. And then everybody added to the stone soup that was being cooked. Build trust gradually. She did not ask anybody for help immediately. Initially, everybody refused when she asked. So small contributions started, and then gradually it added to a large one. And everybody collaborated. So she fostered collaboration. She never said, I don't have anything, because when everybody refused, she could have also sat in one corner and sobbed. But she focused on abundance. She had a pot of water and she picked up a stone and she started building on whatever she could. She did not focus on scarcity. And everybody joined in, everybody chirped in, everybody enjoyed. So collective success was also celebrated. So a leader's greatest skill is turning individual contributions into collective success. Something very, very important. Individual contributions into collective success. And that is something, if we are able to do that, we end out to be a great leader. I just want, nagaRAJU sir, if you permit me, I'll take 2 minutes and share a video which is not.
Please go ahead. It's very interesting.
Which is not a a folk tale, but something which will make all of us understand what leaders should be. This is just a synopsis of what 4 stories we thought. The ancient morale of lion and mouse was kindness is never wasted. But modern executive skill says, in the boardroom, it says servant leadership and reciprocity. Emperor's new clothes, truth over pride. But in boardroom, we talk about psychological safety and integrity. The stone soup sharing brings plenty. Whereas in the boardroom, we talk about collaborative vision and resourcefulness. The crackpot, everyone has a purpose. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I thought we can have these topics and we can connect the folk tales with this. There is a small video, just about 2 minutes. I want all of you to watch.
In a busy city, a boy named Veer dreamed of becoming a great leader. He dreamed of giving speeches, leading people, and making a difference. He believed that giving powerful speeches and commanding crowds would make him a true leader. But no matter how hard he tried, people didn't listen to him, follow him, or trust him. Veer felt frustrated and lost. One day, he went to his wise teacher and said, "Sir, please tell me, how can I become a true leader?" The teacher listened quietly. Instead of answering, he pointed to a crowded market and said, "Go and sit near that old tea seller's stall for 1 week. Watch, but do nothing." Veer was confused. Tea stall? I came to learn leadership, not sell tea. The teacher simply smiled and said nothing. For 1 week, Veer sat quietly near the tea stall. He watched how the tea seller worked. The man smiled at every customer, remembered their favorite tea, treated the poor and rich the same. When a fight started, the tea seller calmly ended it without raising his voice. When a child spilled his tea, the old man kindly gave him another cup for free. When someone insulted him, he simply smiled and kept serving. Every day, Veer watched the tea seller's patience, respect, calmness, and steady service. The tea stall had no sign or advertising, but it was always crowded. At the end of the week, Veer went back to his teacher, his eyes wide with understanding. The teacher smiled and said, "You don't lead by shouting louder. You lead by serving better. Leadership isn't a crown you wear. It's trust you build." Veer finally understood. A true leader doesn't demand followers. A true leader serves so well that people follow naturally. From that day on, Veer changed. He stopped trying to impress people with big speeches. Instead, he began helping others quietly, treating everyone with respect, and solving problems calmly. He listened more, spoke less, and served selflessly. Slowly, people started trusting him, seeking his advice, and naturally choosing him as their leader. Veer became the leader he had always dreamed of, not by commanding others, but by serving them. Moral: leadership is not about power or position. It's about service, patience, and building trust. In real life, many of you may dream of becoming leaders: a captain, a monitor, a manager, or a change maker. But true leadership isn't about giving orders. It's about serving, listening, and earning trust. If you help others and stay calm and respectful, people will follow you naturally. Remember, be the leader people choose to follow, not the one they are forced to follow.
So be the leader one chooses to follow, not you're ordered to follow. That is the most important message for today. And thank you very, very much. I'll stop sharing my screen. I've taken 3-4 minutes extra.
Apple.
So
Thank you very much, Dr. Kshitish. That was a very, very interesting, powerful presentation, and you've drawn lots of wonderful messages from those very popularly known stories. So we knew these stories, but we perhaps were conditioned to believe that those stories conveyed only one message each, perhaps, but you've drawn a whole gamut of messages from each one of them, especially the ones that are related to leadership and to lionism. Thank you very much for
thank you,
that
sir.
exhaustive,
I
interesting.
just wanted to add that very often the more you move to the northern part of India, every speech is punctuated with a lot of shairi, lot of sayings. And people think that is the punchline with which will make them a leader. I That's what I said. It is not important what you speak, it is important who you are. So it's your character that you build over years, helping people, listening to people, being of use to everybody rather than how you give your speech. You can be a good orator, but a very poor leader. So it's not important to speak good, it is important to listen well.
Very well said.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much once
Questions?
again. Yeah, this is question time now. We have time for about 3 or 4 questions. And please raise your virtual hand and I'll invite you. You can just straight go to the question. Lion Muralidhar, your question, please.
So good evening, sir. It was of course, a fabulous class which we learned a lot of things. But I wanted to ask another personal question on the LCIF you are donating every year. Did you
Yeah.
take the decision in the beginning itself that you are going to donate every year? After a few years, you made it a habit after seeing anything new, sir?
No, no, no. When I became a president of my club, I decided I am going to donate every year. And then since then, it has been 14 years since I was a president. I've donated 14,000. I'm ready with my next check in July.
Lovely. That's great. Is there anyone else who has made a small but frequent contribution to LCIF? Every year, every quarter, every 6 months, whatever little, even if it's $10, it's right. Yeah, I don't know if you can unmute yourself and speak, but anyway, that's fine. Any other questions, please?
Some more questions or comments? Even comments are welcome, not only
Comments
questions.
also are welcome.
Comments not on my presentation. Comments on your take from some folk tale which you want to share, something like that. Some Tenali Raman stories, some Birbal stories, some Aesop's fables, something which some leadership aspect that has not been touched in these four folk tales, something which you would like to bring out.
There is a response from P.R. Yarala. He says that he also has donated $14,000.
Very nice, very nice. Good. Congratulations. So we don't have any questions.
They don't seem to be
I could have taken 5 more minutes in my presentation. I thought I'm running back. So anyway, so we are at 10:10. So 10:10 to 10:15 is thanks and announcements. So we can go ahead with the vote of thanks
the
and
next part of
announcements.
it. In case there are, I think all of you know that there are, Kshitij right at the beginning of his presentation told us that there are lakhs of stories from across the world, not only India, not only, I mean, any part of the country, but any particular part of the country, but from everywhere. So there are stories that are available to us whenever we want to make a presentation. Perhaps we can search for a story that suits our context and that conveys the message that we wish to convey. Alain Piyush, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. I don't have any question, but I want to tell something.
Yeah, please.
Panchatantra is there. There are 87 stories in Panchatantra, which was written by Pandit Vishnu Sharma. There are 6 parts of that. So I regard Dr. Kshitij as a new version of Pandit Vishnu Sharma. I'm very well known in my circle as a storyteller, and I used to do it in my club as well.
Thank you.
I have full set in my mobile of Panchtantra, then Bikram Vetal, and so many stories.
Yeah, nice. It's not only just knowing the stories for all of us. We have to quickly recollect a story that suits the context. It's not just for the purpose of telling a story, but making a point. So in case we can have a repertoire of stories with us, and then if we can connect them with the messages that we would like to convey, I think they work well and they will make the presentations much more impactful. There are quite a lot of presenters here, trainers, facilitators, coaches, training. I think quite a lot of us, those who have done RLI, ELLI, FDI, LCIP, all of us, I mean, get opportunities to speak on quite a lot of occasions. And then whenever we go, if we go with a story that suits the context and then fits the context, I think that would be wonderful. So we will stop here. I'll go back to my presentation. So we were here. 1 second. Yeah, so thank you very much, past International Director R. Muruganji, for gracing this program and for giving your wonderful message. You narrated a very, very insightful and historical story to convey your message. Thank you very much for the time that you've given, despite your very busy schedule. Thank you very much, Dr. Kshitij. I think you have far beyond exceeded the expectations, and then you have done a great job. I know, like you told us already, how much effort you made to make those slides and then collect those stories and draw a long list of messages from every one of them and related them to leadership. That was a great job. It was not just collecting stories and narrating them, but you made the points really well. So once again, I welcome and I thank every one of you for being here this evening. Before I close, I just would like to tell you that actually the series, the third series of SkillUP was supposed to close the next fortnight on June 25th. So, Lion Balbir Singh had was one of those who had applied to make a presentation, but unfortunately, perhaps he was not well. He has not been responding to my messages. I'll take just one more chance tomorrow. I'll try to call him, and if he does not respond, because I've already created a slot there, and I told you that it will close on June 25th. If he is not available, I'll make the presentation myself. So please wait for a day or two, and I'll let you know who is going to make that last presentation for this series. And after June, I already told you, July will take a break, and July last week or August first week, we'll restart this series once again. These are the 71 topics that have so far been covered by different LCIPs. Some of them got multiple opportunities. Some of them spoke twice. Some of them spoke 3 times every year they've spoken. And some younger ones, those who have become LCIPs recently, have got their first opportunity. And I'm sure next year there'll be a few more, and we will love to have them in case there is Killer 4.0. I have not decided yet. So this is my mail ID, this is my mobile number, and there is a group of SkillUp participants which I've created on my WhatsApp. And in case anybody wants to receive the future notifications, you can join that group, or you can just say hello to me. I'll add you to the group. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
So the
Thank you
program
everyone who
ends
joined
here,
in.
but I'm going to keep this window open for another 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm also going to allow you to unmute yourselves. You can say hello to each other, or maybe you can narrate